We are taught from a young age that life must be taken seriously. We equate seriousness with importance, competence, and success. We treat our careers, our possessions, our reputations, and our detailed 5-year plans with a grim, heavy reverence. But what is the cost of this constant, grinding seriousness? It's anxiety, rigidity, and the inability to laugh when things inevitably go wrong. The heaviest thing you own isn't your house or your debt, it's your self-importance. The ultimate irony is that Japanese minimalism, which appears on the surface to be the most disciplined and precise philosophy, is actually the most potent tool for teaching you how to let go and not take life so seriously. This philosophy doesn't aim for rigidity, it aims for fluidity. It seeks freedom from the heavy anchor of attachment to results, to perfection, to permanence. The disciplined clarity of Zen practices doesn't lead to a tighter grip, it leads to an open hand. We're going to explore 8 essential Japanese habits that turn the weight of life into a light, manageable load. By embracing these principles, you will discover that the highest form of mastery is not control, but graceful, light-hearted non-attachment. The paradox of nothingness and beauty. To understand this lightness, we must understand 2 core Japanese philosophical concepts. First, mu, the concept of nothingness or the void. In Zen, mu is not an absence. It is the fundamental reality that precedes all form and all categorization. Since all things, all arguments, all empires, all anxieties, will eventually return to the void, how can we possibly take them that seriously? Mu is the philosophical joke that releases us from the need for permanence. Second, mono no aware. This is the gentle, wistful melancholy for the transience of things. It is the awareness that everything is changing and fleeting, like the cherry blossoms. But this is not a tragic realization. It is a beautiful, soft acceptance. Because things are temporary, they are precious. Because they will pass, they cannot hold you forever. This awareness is the opposite of serious attachment. The 8 habits below are practical ways to integrate mu and mono no aware into your daily life, transforming your heaviest mental burdens into sources of quiet amusement. Handling perfectionism. Perfectionism. The constant, serious internal critic that tells you your work, your appearance, or your plan isn't good enough. This relentless pursuit of the flawless generates paralyzing anxiety and stops you from starting. Wabi-Sabi is the appreciation of beauty that is imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. It celebrates flaws, cracks, and the visible signs of a life lived. It teaches that the flaw is not a failure, but the very source of character. The flaw-first creation. 1. The preemptive flaw. Before you start a presentation, write an email, or begin a major project, deliberately acknowledge a potential flaw right away. State it out loud. This is a first draft, and it will be messy. Or, my hair is slightly crooked today. 2. The Wabi-Sabi spot. Look at your immediate surroundings and identify something beautifully flawed, a stain on a mug, a bend in a book spine. Take a moment to appreciate the history that flaw represents. 3. The release. Apply that acceptance to yourself. Understand that your imperfection is what makes you interesting. You are not striving for the rigid, cold perfection of a machine, but the warm, complex beauty of life. By deliberately accepting the flaw, you disarm the internal critic and remove the crushing weight of having to be perfect. Wabi-Sabi allows you to approach life with a gentle shrug and the quiet humor of knowing that your best work will always contain a beautifully imperfect signature. Handling heavy choices. Decision paralysis. Treating every major choice, job, city, relationship, as if it were a life and death, one-shot, permanent decision. The seriousness of the choice leads to endless analysis and fear of the unknown. Since the ultimate state of existence is mu, nothingness, Any single decision you make is, in the grand scheme, temporary and ultimately void of final, absolute significance. The universe doesn't care which job you pick. The Mu coin flip. 1. Acknowledge the fear. When you are stuck between two heavy options, A and B, acknowledge the fear of commitment. 2. The Mu script. Say this out loud. I am facing two good options, A or B. Since both options will eventually return to the void, Mu, the true significance of the choice is in the learning and growth I will experience, not the result itself. I choose growth. 3. The flip. Assign A to heads, B to tails. Flip a coin. The moment the coin lands, notice your immediate, instinctive emotional reaction. Do you feel a momentary relief or a surge of disappointment? 4. The true choice. The coin flip forces your deeper, less serious intuition to surface. The true Mu decision is to commit to the path revealed by your intuition, understanding that it too is only temporary. You stop viewing the choice as a monumental judgment. You realize that the path of growth is present in either direction. The flip serves as a playful reminder that sometimes the universe just needs you to move, not obsess. Mu removes the seriousness by removing the permanence. Handling loss and change. Resistance to change and loss. Clinging fiercely to the past, relationships, possessions, or stages of life, and viewing their transience as a personal tragedy rather than a natural cycle. This resistance creates heavy emotional suffering. Mono-no aware, the gentle, wistful acceptance of impermanence. It's the ability to look at a beautiful, fleeting thing, like a falling autumn leaf, and feel a bittersweet appreciation, not paralyzing grief. The fading memory log. 1. The loss focus. When you feel heavy sadness over a loss or change, a job ending, a child growing up, a favorite object breaking, grab a journal. 2. The beauty capture. Write down 3 things you were given by that temporary thing. Focus on the sensory details, the sound of your child's laugh when they were 4, the specific smell of your old office, the comforting weight of the broken mug. 3. The bittersweet bow. Conclude by writing, "It was beautiful because it was fleeting. I am grateful for the memory, and I release the need for it to have remained." By actively documenting the beauty of the experience because it passed, you embrace mono-no aware. You transform tragedy into poetry. You teach your mind to treat loss not as a theft, but as a graduation, a bittersweet but necessary step forward. This allows the heart to feel sadness without allowing the mind to become heavy. Handling control anxiety. The desire to control the uncontrollable, especially social outcomes, other people's opinions, or the precise timing of events. This leads to intense micromanagement and serious anxiety when things deviate from the plan. Kuki wo yomu, literally translated as reading the air. This concept is the subtle art of situational awareness, understanding the unspoken mood or context and acting accordingly. In the context of inner peace, it means recognizing when your control is not part of the air. The air reading check. 1. The control surge. When you feel the intense need to send that frantic email, intervene in a conversation, or obsessively check a metric, pause. 2. The air question. Ask yourself, what is the kuki, the air of this situation, telling me right now? Is the air asking for intervention, or is it asking for patience and space? 3. The release. If the air is telling you that your intervention is unwarranted, unneeded, or will be counterproductive, commit to a full 1-hour release. Step back, close the laptop, and deliberately focus on an activity that has nothing to do with the outcome you are trying to control. This habit replaces anxious control with graceful awareness. By practicing Kuki wo Yomu, You realize that you are often inserting your own heavy seriousness where the situation merely requires patience or a lighter touch. You stop fighting the flow of events and start aligning with them, which is far less exhausting. Handling everyday frustrations, hyperreactivity to minor daily setbacks, traffic, a spilled drink, a forgotten item. These small frustrations, when taken seriously, build into chronic anger and stress, robbing you of joy. Heijōshin means the mind of ordinary life, or equanimity. It is the Zen ideal of maintaining a calm, stable, ordinary mind, whether you are facing a typhoon or simply eating a bowl of rice. The Heijōshin pause. 1. The setback. A minor frustration occurs. You drop your keys, the Wi-Fi cuts out, you spill your coffee. 2. The pause. Before your habitual emotional reaction, anger, swearing, sighing, execute a full, deliberate 10-second pause. 3. The reframe. During the pause, mentally say, "This is a moment of ordinary life. This is not a catastrophe. My Heijōshin is unaffected." 4. The action. Address the issue with the lowest possible amount of emotional energy. Clean the spill. Find the keys. Do not allow the triviality of the event to dictate the seriousness of your internal state. This is essential stress inoculation. By applying Heijōshin to the small, predictable disasters of ordinary life, you train your mind to stop escalating trivialities into serious problems. You start to find a quiet, almost humorous resilience in the face of minor chaos. Handling the weight of purpose. Treating your Ikigai, reason for being, purpose, as a huge, daunting, career-defining obligation. This pressure turns your deepest passion into a source of anxiety, making the pursuit feel heavy and joyless. While often translated as purpose, the purest sense of Ikigai is about finding joy and fulfillment in the smaller daily acts that make life worthwhile. It is not about a massive achievement. It is about the simple pleasure of the process. The Ikigai Joy Audit. 1. The audit. Question. Stop what you are doing and ask, in the last 24 hours, what was one moment where I felt a simple, effortless joy? It could be the smell of coffee, a quick walk, finishing a page, or a simple conversation. 2. The joy check. Identify the lowest effort activity that brought you this feeling. 3. The recommitment. Schedule 5 minutes for that exact low-effort activity in the next 90 minutes. Do not elaborate or monetize it. Simply enjoy it for the sake of enjoying it. This audit replaces the heavy weight of global purpose with the immediate, attainable pleasure of daily joy. By focusing on the small, joyful moments, you realize that your Ikigai is not a serious burden to be achieved, but a light, continuous flow of small pleasures to be noticed. Handling outcome fixation. Taking your success too seriously, your failure too seriously, and constantly worrying about the final result rather than the quality of the effort being exerted right now. Zanshin means lingering mind or sustained awareness. In martial arts, it is the continued state of awareness after the blow has been struck. Applied to life, it is focusing on the integrity of the process rather than the rigidity of the outcome. The Zanshin process check. 1. The stress point. When you feel anxiety about a future outcome, a presentation, a deadline, a waiting result, pause. 2. The process question. Ask, is my Zanshin, my awareness, on the process I am performing right now, or is it on the result I cannot control? 3. The refocus. If the answer is the result, grab a pen and write down one tiny, immediate improvement you can make to the process. E.g. Slow down my typing, read this sentence aloud, straighten my posture. Commit to that one process change for the next 5 minutes. By focusing on the present process, you ground yourself in the only thing you can truly control, your effort and attention. Zanshin teaches that the best possible outcome emerges naturally from the highest quality of attention paid to the present moment. You stop being the frantic warrior and become the calm craftsman, handling intense planning stress, over-planning, over-strategizing, and taking your meticulous blueprints for the future too seriously. The stress comes when reality inevitably contradicts your perfect plan. Hikari Goto means strategy, scheme, or tactic. It is the acknowledgement of the need for planning, but with the subtle understanding that the plan itself is inherently flawed and temporary. The Hikari Goto Plan Shred. 1. The strategy document. Locate your most serious plan, strategy, or detailed schedule, the one causing the most rigidity. 2. The critique. Read the first paragraph and ask, what is the single most likely way this plan will fail or need to change? Acknowledge the flaw openly. 3. The shred. Take the document or a printout and rip off a small corner or draw a humorous doodle on it. This symbolic act is a physical release of attachment to its perfection. 4. The lightened recommitment. Recommit to the spirit of the plan, not the rigid details. Understand that your strategy is a map, not the territory. This ritual uses a touch of playfulness to break the seriousness of intense planning. Hikari Goto reminds you that planning is necessary, but the belief that the plan is infallible is arrogant and stressful. You hold the plan lightly, freeing up the energy previously spent defending its impossibility. The greatest lesson of Japanese minimalism is that the pursuit of discipline is not about control. It is about earning the freedom to be light. The rigor of Wabi-Sabi, Heijōshin, and Zanshin is designed to dismantle the heavy attachments that cause suffering. The attachment to perfection, to permanence, and to self-importance. Your ultimate minimalist possession is a fully intact sense of humor about your own life. Life is temporary, flawed, and utterly unpredictable. And that is its beautiful core reality. By practicing these 8 habits, you shed the heavy armor of seriousness and replace it with the fluid, resilient grace of Mu. Choose one habit right now, whether it's the Heijōshin pause or the Wabi-Sabi acceptance, and commit to applying it the next time you feel that heavy, anxious seriousness creeping in. What heavy weight are you ready to laugh at today?